Thanks for staying with us. Happy Children's Day once again. And without doubt, there is prevalence of immoralities among children nowadays. And the factors contributing to this menace are staring us in the face. This morning, we want to discuss what we want, some of the factors responsible for the scourge in our society, how we can tackle immoralities among children, what parents and guardians can do to stem this rising tide, curb these anomalies, prevent our children from going wayward, and tackle this scourge that is putting the future of our tomorrow's leaders in serious jeopardy. Please join the conversation and call us on 0810-7641-679 or 0902-416-3440. You can tweet us at TVC Connect using the hashtag #YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Immorality amongst our children. So there's a video we saw which is linked to this, and I would like at some points that our producers are able to play the video so that people can have an understanding of what we're talking about. Now, we saw a young girl who was probably celebrating her birthday, and she was taken to a hotel room by the boy and their friends, a group of children, and they were celebrating. There was cake on the bed, there were flowers, I love you, those kind of celebrations that we see adults do. And these kids are having a good time, clapping, hugging, kissing to celebrate their birthday. And the first thing I asked myself is, where are their parents? It's your birthday. I have teenagers, their birthday, and they are not around me for their birthday. It's not like they're in the university or they've not entered school. Their birthday, they are not in my house. I'm not the one buying the cake. I'm not the one buying the gift. I'm not the one saying I love you. And they are in a hotel room away from the house celebrating. And I can only imagine what that celebration will end with. Happy ending we follow after that celebration. What is happening to our young people? We're all parents here. We have a grandmother in the house. And I'd like us to just ask ourselves.
Point of correction, glamour.
Glamour in the house. I'd like us to look into this matter. What can we do to change this? Because it's becoming a menace.
I don't think it's becoming known. Because I think it's always been there. And I do say that while we can be celebrating Children's Day and talking about children, we should realize that they are children. What that means is their decision-making ability is still developing.
So true.
They need adult supervision.
Yeah.
And when we see this kind of behavior, it shows the lack of adult supervision. It's beyond parents alone. Yeah, we will hold parents responsible, but the room where they are in has adults at the door. And we all need to become each other's, we need to be our
keeper.
Yes, brothers keepers. We need to look out for one another. You run an hotel, you would say that this hotel cannot accommodate this type of things. I will not let it happen. No, you are not allowed to. As a society, because guess what? In developed countries, they had to create that system with drinking. You cannot have access. You can't buy alcohol unless you are 18 and above. You are not allowed to. Here, adults send their children to go and buy alcohol, buy drugs, Neighbors send children to go and buy alcohol. As in, like, we're giving unnecessary exposure because we're not taking responsibility for everybody around us. Even if you see a parent doing something wrong around their child, you as an uncle, auntie, friend, elder, neighbor should step in, because I see these children and I just see these vulnerable children that in the next 5 years, they will regret what they've done. They would wish they did not do it. They are doing things that, when I was, how old was I? I think I was like 14, 15, because I wasn't 16. I was very sure I was not 16 yet. It was Valentine's Day, and my classmate wanted to go for Valentine. And she didn't want to go and meet her boyfriend alone, mind you. I don't have boyfriend. So I was like, since they know I don't have any plan for Valentine's Day, I don't have any boyfriend. The one that have boyfriend doesn't want to do something. I didn't get it, but she kept begging me I should please come with her. Her boyfriend was take her out. And in my head, that's why I said it's not new. Because she had obviously had that boyfriend for over a year. That was their second Valentine. So they had done Valentine before, and things happened that she didn't want to happen again. So that was why she was taking me as a security. I know for a fact that down the line, she is regretting the things that happened with that boyfriend that she had at that age.
Did you play the security role well?
I did my best, but they now arranged boyfriend for me to keep me busy, and I ran away because I realized that the man had already envisaged all the case scenarios and pre-planned for it. So in my head, I looked at that, thinking about it. I couldn't have made a good decision. My own decision was to flee. It was church inside my head and my parents inside my head. But she didn't. I left her. I had to, and she will regret it. Many people regret those decisions later because they're not meant to make those decisions then. Let children be children. Let adults protect the children. Let's not blame children for the mistakes they are making. Don't look at them and say, look at this child. How can you be doing something like this? Look at the adults around that are enabling this child to behave like this, and let us call ourselves and pull our ears.
That kind of situation, Tokwe, the parents were not there. So how would you blame the parents for that kind of situation? There were no parents there now. I've shared this story before when we were kids, that I followed my friend to her boyfriend's house. I've shared it, have you?
Is it not the Chiki Peri Peri story?
No, that was Chiki Peri Peri is different. I was an adult. So we went. It was Jumoke, Boduri and I. We went. She had this boy, Bonnie, Bobby. I can't remember the boy's name. When we got there, we were sitting down. When her brother appeared like this, her older brother, because the house we went to, there were no adults there. It was just us. When the brother appeared with stick for all of us.
That's what we're saying. The elder.
That's what I'm saying. Because the brother had gotten
the info.
Information that something was about
these girls,
to go
they are
down.
going somewhere. Let me go and wait for them there. In a lot of cases, the parents don't hear. The parents don't hear. So the children are going to do what they're going to do with or without the parents' knowledge. It's mostly without the parents' knowledge, because no parent is going to say, darling, go to your boyfriend's house
for Valentine.
For Valentine.
At
Which parent is going to
16.
say that? No parent is going to really say that.
Shock you.
It will shock me, but most reasonable parents will not.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You understand?
Yeah.
So, how do we? The question we should now ask ourselves: how do we stop our kids from doing those because things. At that age their hormones are raised. Raging. That's the Igbo.
YK, you're so, when I say it will shock you is the older I've become and more I'm doing this parenting thing, or just getting to know people, is that sometimes we make this assumption that our values are the same values for everyone else. The things that you think are important for your child when your child is growing up, some people don't think that. I've seen families where they're so intentional about how their children dress, the sort of words that they say, the things that you find crude. In some homes, they use the F words with each other. Parents say to children, and it's like cool. Like if your child does not even do it, the child is not the cool child. Or if your parent does not do that, your own parents are not the cool ones. So we need to also understand as parents that don't take it for granted that your values are the same as another parent's. You have to get to know these other people. With YK, especially where I feel like at the time when you were raising your child, like there were some cultural values that were just our cultural values. Everywhere. Now with social media, with all the sort of movies we are watching, people have different values. There are some people that are watching all this love and hip hop and they have imbibed that as their values. They are living here in Lagos and they are looking at them, just misbehaving and thinking, yes, this is what we want. And their children are watching it and taking it on. But there used to be a time that we just knew what was acceptable and it was easier because we all shared the same values, that if your child is stepping out of line, another parent will see it and know that you would not accept it and correct you. But now a parent cannot, cannot step in because they'll ask you, yes, who told you that we have a problem with this in my house? We don't have a problem. So there are things that I'm seeing, and I just realized we need to be so intentional. And there used to be a time, there's something we always say here that there's also this saying in Hausa, which is you give birth to a child, you don't give birth to his habits. But I was listening to this lady Wendy Ologe, she does parenting coaching. Yes, intentional parenting. And she says that, yes, we tend to say that, but the truth is that many times how our children turn out is how we raise them. That's just the truth. Sometimes we say those things to kind of absolve ourselves from the consequences of our bad and unintentional parenting. But many times, maybe 90% of the time, how we parent our children is how they turn out. Now, this particular video that we're playing, that we've seen, it shows minors, like children. They look to me like 13, 14. 13. Yeah, 12, 13, 14. And they're in this hotel room. First of all, you're in a hotel room. An adult sitting at the reception saw a group of minors and thought it was okay to provide a space for you. And obviously, because we are coming, did you see the caption of the video? A gift from my man. I said, who is your man?
No, all of you are not even men yet.
Wait, do you know what that means? So they usher her into this room, and then there are minors just like them in the room, and they give her a gift or whatever, and then they get onto the bed, right? And everyone is around there hailing them and excited. Now, there'll be children there that their parents have raised them better.
Yeah.
Right?
In the mix.
Good. But they are there because of peer pressure. So, yes, there are some things that my son, who is 13, that he does or says that I'm like, this brain thing that they talk about that is not fully developed is true. Because I don't even see how you can say this, knowing how detrimental it is to you. It's not even about me. You, for your self-survival, how do you think this makes sense? So children at that age, they don't know. Yeah. Their brain does not get it. They say, have you sat with them? Just sit down with them for 30 minutes. And the ones that sounding smart, they will not say something
that shows their children
is a child. Because they say some ridiculous things. Their brains haven't matured yet. And at that age also is a time where they are almost rebelling with their family. They are going with these friends who are supposed to be the cool friends, who know what's up. And then you all find yourself there, different kinds of people. But what our parents used to hope on was that if I'm not there, if my eyes are not there, surely there's an adult somewhere who is able to stand in for me or call them aside. But we don't have that anymore because we have all decided that we all have our different values and our different...
We're chasing different
whatever.
things.
But really, as you said, Tope, it didn't start today. The children misbehaving didn't start today. But parents or adults just looking away. It has just become worse going forward.
Deal with. Yeah. Let's take a short break now. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back. So, in continuing this conversation, this thing is not new. It used to happen during our time, because I remember when I was in secondary school, and I know that during Valentine's season like this, cards will be flying up and down, letters, chocolates, roses, these biscuits, shortbread, and all of that. And I used to always feel like left out because I didn't have a boyfriend. I was not fine. I was not desirable. So I didn't used to get any of those things. But it didn't change. It didn't faze me. I never used to sit in one corner and be feeling bad about it. And also the sort of friends I had in secondary school were friends that also did not have that in their awareness. So we'll mind our business, come to class as usual, where we have those elder girls at the back discussing what they got. Because we had this all-boys school very close to our all-girls school. And everybody had like their partner in those boys' schools. So it's something we've always seen. But one of the things that sort of saved me and people like me was the fact that I would always remember my dad's voice in my head. And that is bringing me to what sort of training are we giving to our children at home? Because the truth of the matter is you cannot follow them everywhere.
Obviously.
You cannot be there all the time. Are you instilling enough in them so that when they go out there, even with the peer pressure? So I know some people who came from good homes who were influenced, and some people who were not influenced. Now, how do we do it in such a way that our children are not easily influenced? Because the influence will come, whether we believe it or not. How do we raise them in such a way that they can stand and say it's okay to be different and not feel bad about it? Because what I see most of the time is when you're feeling that you're different, you're singled out, you're secluded, sometimes you're isolated, you start feeling like you're not desirable, nobody likes you, you know, and then you want to do things to belong, and that's where the problem comes in. But how do we raise our children in such a way that they are confident even in their own uniqueness? That's one question. The second one I also like to ask is, one of the reasons why I see many of these hotels collect money from children is because they are more after the money they are going to make. They don't care about giving back to the society. So you situate a hotel, for instance, in an area where there's secondary school, and you are confident and comfortable enough to be collecting these boys, collecting their money, because it's not free. They don't give them those hotels for free.
Of course not.
They pay for the rooms. You collect, you know that this hotel is in a secondary school area, and those boys will always bring their girlfriends, and you collect the money and you sleep well at night. How have we gotten to that point where we can collect money from anybody, no matter how that money comes? We don't care. Before, we used to have businesses.
As
long as you have money, we used to have businesses before that when children come, like growing up, when children come to some places to buy some alcohol or cigarettes, you see Kane, come on, will you get out of here? Who are you? What are you looking for? Where's your mother? Where's your father? We don't have that anymore. As long as money is coming, whoever is coming from, how did we get to that point? And how can we begin to come out of that? I don't even know how to put it.
I watched a video about I think it was even Nima that posted it, and I had to now go back and watch it, about Japan and their culture.
Let me take this call, then I'll come to you. We have a caller from Abuja, I believe. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Before I start, I need to tell Society Glamour, you are rocking those platforms. Please, can you just
send it to you
in the studio and send me the address? Come and pick it myself.
What's your size?
It doesn't matter. I can reduce or increase. Thank you, again, ladies. Thank you for this topic. Like you all, I'm a mom, and before I start, I want to quickly say a little story. When I was doing jams, I think I was 15 then. I'm in my 50s now. So when we were doing jam, and my friend who was being courted by a guy, so we were all in that 15, 16 range, and I think the guy gave her a present, and she decided to buy him Valentine cards. And for the life of me, she bought him about 10 cards. She wanted to give him 10 to express I was dying. So she called me. So she sent for me to there. She was just my neighbor next door, and I got there. She called me whispered and said, "Don't make no let mommy they know. I tell them, say you deserve now. You deserve a Valentine card." I couldn't believe that, because later the friend came and you have the one Valentine. It wasn't so much now. Tomorrow Valentine already. You didn't start early. That was how God good they believe that. She now gave me the card, and the card never got to my house. Tomorrow she came to the house with the card. My mother from her.
Oh, it's not clear. I really wanted to hear this gist.
My mother. Okay. Your life. Yeah, I sent it to jam school. You are doing card. Your life to be. I don't want to tell you how life makes it. For that thing, I feel.
We're struggling to hear.
You need to call back.
Yeah. Maybe if you can call back, we're struggling to hear you in the studio.
I'm not hearing anything.
Yeah.
So she posted a video. I went to the person's page and saw the origin of that video about how Lagos, let me specify Lagos, there's a culture of dirt in Lagos, and how Japan has a culture of cleanliness, and how it was an intentional thing. That they groomed the children right from birth. You pick up things little by little, arranging your stuff, even to the point where Japanese went for World Cup, and in the country that is not their own, they were picking up deaths after the end of the match, because that's their culture. We can change our culture, but we need to be intentional to say this is the agenda. And I feel that there was a time when you cannot be seen to do some things. Everybody will call you out. And then we created a new culture where everybody looks away. It's not my business. Don't be my child. Make I face my own. Consign me. that became our new culture. That's where we are now. And we can go back to the place where all of us are realizing that if I don't help my neighbors correct their children, their own child will now be the one that later influence my own later. So we must take ownership of everybody around us. It will be a journey, and it will come from conversations like this, where we are doing Children's Day, but not just talking about children. Rather, we are educating ourselves to stimulate the right conversations. I can't even count the number of times when after the show, I get back home and say, Oga, you know there's something called this drug. Have you heard of this drug? Have you heard of that one? Swear. And I'm the one, it's after the show, and I'll be like, have you heard of it before? They'll say no. I'm like, I should let you know that there are other side effects to it, and these are the consequences. We are to stimulate this conversation and ensure that we are trickling it to everybody around us. We must help one another. The Wendy Olonge she just mentioned, I heard about her because a friend of mine did a course on intentional parenting and sent me the course and said, Tokwe, you need to do this course. She sent me a book. Tokwe, you need to read this book. You need to have a conversation with your children about this thing. I like the way she says it. I wouldn't have heard about her if somebody did not invest the time to pull me onto that journey. And I think we need to do that for one another, because some parents are so overwhelmed with life. Life is life in them. They are not thinking of it, but you that you know, tell them.
Yeah, so we have a caller from London. Beauty, are you there?
I'm here. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Beauty.
I just want to add a little view on this. I love what the last caller said, that parents should be intentional in raising their children.
Yeah.
I've got 4 kids, and to the glory of God, I will say this, that the way I brought up my children, people always comment and say, wow, I love the way your children are turning out. Let's bear in mind that whatever it is, parents have 90% of instilling good behavior in their children. 90. Fine, the school is there and the friends they meet with. Now, I'm going to say this. You know the fish. When you get a dry fish and a fresh one, you have to dry it before it becomes very strong. So before you start grilling it or smoking it, you can bend it the way you want to bend it. Because once it's dry, once you try to bend it, it will break.
It will break.
So children can be likened to that. So from that little age, start instilling good behavior in them. As a family here, we have a monthly meeting. In this monthly meeting, we involve the children in making decisions. Decisions that affect the family. Yes, we hear their own opinions. And we weigh it from the positive side, the negative effect of it, and then we go for the one that is yes, the positive effect of it. And when it turns that way, it makes them think that, of the truth, the family values them. And even in school, they can make decisions on their own. My daughter is in 10. Your 10 can be SS2 in Nigeria. Now, there was a day she came back from school and she was telling me, Mom, everybody, what is in trend now is you must have a boyfriend.
Thank you, Beauty. Thank you. We really have to go. Your final words, we are going. Yeah, we're wrapping up the topic.
Okay. Yes. Well, my final, I was going to talk about that it's okay for children to want to celebrate, have some celebrations, and because they are growing physiologically, their body is changing, they are noticing things about themselves. So it's not to say to children, do not have those sort of celebrations or those feelings. Is to make sure that you are part of it and you know, show them the way to go. Valentine's, when we're in secondary school, the cards that used to be sent, you know, across from the boys to the girls, the teddy bears, the cake, it was nice. It was done openly. Our teachers saw it. Those of us that didn't get were happy for those that got, you know, but it was done in an open manner.
You could exchange
and hopefully,
the gifts in
you
class.
know, the parents should know. Is this thing where parents are unaware? So you're not intentional about how you explain this journey, this stage of life to your children. They cannot have a conversation about it with you. So they go to people who are bad people. You see, these hotels that we're talking about that children go to, these are not human beings. These are criminals. They are taking advantage of a certain stage in a growing child's life, and they are creating places, as far as I'm concerned, these are pedophiles, you know, to see how they can take advantage of children. So there's a wholesome way to enjoy growing up and enjoy your teenage years. And then there are saboteurs of our children just waiting around, lurking around to destroy them. And parents have to make sure that their eyes are open.
We need to be very, very intentional. So get to know your teenagers, talk to your teenagers, know what they are feeling, and don't be oblivious or be in denial that they are not supposed to be feeling what they are feeling because people go to church or because you preach Jesus to them. We need to be truthful to ourselves.
I want you to just think of something, because there are some parents who are very intentional. They actually think they are doing the right thing, and the child
will still turn out.
Spoiled.
Yes.
So
it's the grace of God at the end of the day. That's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, we'll move on to yet another segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.